Hello, everybody. Welcome to Girl, It's Agree to Disagree. I am your host, Jessica Milagros from Big Brother Season 21. I am here with BREYDON White, runner from Big Brother Canada Season 9. And we are here with, Big Brother Season 23 winner, historical winner, Xavier, winner, chicken dinner. How are you feeling? Well, first of all, congratulations on a historical season, Xavier. Y'all gave us a show. There's a lot of us that are very, very happy with this, with this outcome. Congratulations. How does it feel to be not just a Big Brother winner, but the first Black winner in 23 seasons?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And first, before I even get into my wins, I want to give respect where respect is due. Tamar Braxton was the first winner of BB, Celebrity BB. And then, TYCHON went ahead and did his thing. BREYDON, you were sitting in the final two right next to him on BB Can. Y'all went ahead and laid the groundwork for us on BB US.
Yes.
And now I feel honored to be the first winner of BB US. It's everything. I wanted to be not only a great representative for the Big Brother community, but for the Black community as well. And I hope I make both communities proud.
Oh, yeah. I do think, one of the things that I do want to commend you on, like what, a lot of us that were watching your game, it's not an easy thing to go in there and play actually the way that you did, because, you were at times mediator. You were trying to, keep your group together at times. At times you were omitting or not saying things that, other people would probably throw chairs at, like. Tell me, what are you most surprised about in terms of yourself and what you've learned being in this game, and how different was it from what you thought it was going to be?
I would say what I got most surprised about being in the house, or what I was most surprised about with the game, I guess it would be more of the behind the scenes things. I didn't realize you could do lines like 5 times in a row at like a veto meeting or like at a nomination ceremony. It was like, all right, one more time for safety. Okay, we're gonna do it again, and this is gonna be awkward again. Those are things behind the scenes, but as it pertains to the game itself, just kind of how some of those personal relationships can affect game decisions. Sometimes because you get close to the people in the house, you're spending time with them 24/7, but then you have an alliance that they aren't in, and you got to kind of cut them off. But then you're like, well, this is my homie. I don't want to do that. So it's just those kind of internal conflicts that you see as a fan, but being in the house, it hits on a different level for sure.
No, so being on such like a monumental season, I know that like people always say that like representation really matters. So like, what is like something that you hope that like future house guests or like future people wanting to apply like get from like seeing you like being such a great representative and winning and showing people that Black people can win this game?
Yeah, I think a big goal for me this season, just from a representation standpoint, was that I feel like a lot of times, especially in the Black community or just minority communities in general, the only way you can be successful is if you're a professional athlete or you're some outstanding entertainer. I want people to see that there's other avenues for success for minorities. I mean, let's look at just the house. Tiffany was in healthcare. Chada is a prodigy. Aza is the embodiment of a true Black queen. Kylan, brilliant. Big D, personality for days. And then Alyssa, hilarious. Like, there was so much personality. There were so many people who were successful in so many different avenues. And I love that Big Brother captured all of that, especially for the minority community. So little boys and girls who are watching this can see like, hey, that can be me too. And I think there's something huge about that from just an overall standpoint, from a whole societal standpoint.
Yeah, that I agree with that wholeheartedly.
1000%.
And that's exactly what I feel like you all captured, and why all of us were so proud. And even when it came down to the final 6, even though some people had their favorites, obviously there's, you don't have your phone yet, I assume, right? So you don't.
I have my phone, but I haven't really gotten into social media yet.
Oh.
I'm going through all
that's always fun.
I'm going through all I'm getting texts about meetings and stuff, so I haven't really gotten to see social media. But I would say I know who everyone's fan favorite was. I mean, she just won 50K.
Did that surprise you?
Hell no. It's tippy toes.
Really? Because it didn't seem like that on the feeds. I feel like a lot of people weren't giving her the credit that she really deserved.
Oh, well then set the record straight. One, as you guys know, when you're in the house, who you are in the house and the game that you see in the house is different than the respect you have once the game is over. You know, in the house, Tiffany was my biggest threat to winning this game. And I would almost say vice versa for her. I'm not sure what conversation she was having when I wasn't around, but I'm almost positive she was probably saying, hey, I gotta get X out at 6. And I was saying something similar to her just because I know she respected my game and I respected hers. She was a game player and she brought it. And we're both two competitive Michiganders. We gonna bring it.
And it was actually very surprising because there were a lot of people, and which is why we feel like, wow, he is deserving of this win, because you were targeted a lot. And I mean, I know that you I mean, hey, Claire literally said, if this man stays, Claire, and that was true.
Well, she went full New York. I was like, no.
And even after that, don't say exactly. And even after that, you maintained that, that seat. That's impressive.
Kind of funny because like after Claire's speech, like the next person kept saying it, and then the next person kept saying it. I was like, if y'all just kind of want to, y'all could just, chill with that.
I'm like, cut it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to say, look, we do, I want to start by saying we do love and respect you. Obviously, we would love for you to come on our show to kind of dive a little bit deeper, but I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't ask you this, because it's something that a lot of people are asking, is why were none of the cookout men really acknowledging Tiffany's game, or actually the game of the women that played in the cookout? Because a lot of the times it was talking about being carried and them not pulling their weight, things of that nature. So I want to give you the floor to kind of just address that.
Yeah. While in the house, I do feel like at times it felt like it was kind of the men against the women. At times, we knew kind of Tiffany, Azah, and Hannah had a bond, and Big D, Kai, and I all had a bond. But at the same time, I don't know if people knew this, but I also had a final 3 that included Tiffany and Hannah. I had a final 3 deal that was Big D and Azah. And the reason I had the final 3 with Tiffany and Hannah is because I had an immense amount of respect for the game they played, and I did trust them. The only time Tiffany and I really broke trust was on week 9 when she won her second HOH. She became a legend, but it did put the cookout in a tough position, which ended up with her nominating Claire. But her and I talked about that. We were straight up. It's just like, yeah, I'm frustrated. Hey, I wanted it. Cool, it is what it is. That's just how we played the game. But I would say if they felt like the men didn't, I tried to make this clear with also Big D and Kylan whenever I would talk to them. I was like, look, just because they haven't won doesn't mean that they won't win, or doesn't mean they aren't doing things in their own way to contribute to the cookout. I think to simply ignore their social aspect, which Tiffany was a beast, Azah was a beast. That's why they both never got nominated. And Hannah is brilliant. I don't know if y'all have had a conversation with that young woman, but she is like, I'm a lawyer and I feel dumb around it. Like, that's how I feel. But yeah, like I think all of them played a very crucial role. And I think at the time it may have just been frustration from some of them.
Absolutely. And it happens.
You guys have been in the house. Y'all know how that gets. It's a pressure cooker of emotions. But I mean, for me personally, I would never undermine any member of the cookouts game, especially the women. I mean, Tiffany won 2 HOHs back-to-back. Hannah won HOH during the double eviction when she needed to. Azah won final 5 HOHs. The women played an amazing role in this game, and I would never detract from that, because if none of them are in the cookout, none of the men go anywhere. And guys can quote that, send it on Twitter, put it on blog, put it wherever, but I will 100% stand behind that. Tiffany played an amazing game. She came up with a plan for the cookout. I know Big D and her are going back and forth on who created it. I'm gonna let them figure that out.
Well, it was like who created it, but I just want to know that you did name this, right? You did name it the cook. That's you. That's you.
That's all you.
Nobody's gonna take that from you.
Together, that's between Tiff and Big D. I got the name though, trademark. But yeah, like the women of the cookout played an amazing game. And I would fully take blame if I didn't give them the credit they deserved while in the house. We were also competing, Tiffany, Hannah, and Azah were arguably my biggest threats. Kylan and Big D, I felt like if I sat next to either of them, I win.
Yeah.
Azah, Hannah, and Tiffany, I knew if I sat next to Tiffany in the final 2, the fan in me, which I haven't seen Twitter, the fan in me kind of would have loved that just to see who would have won. I think Tiffany probably could have beaten me, but I don't think it would have been a landslide. I think it would have been close just because of our gameplay. But as a house guest, I was like, Tiff gotta go. Like,
Yeah. Those are threats. Those are threats.
As a competitor.
As a competitor. And we totally understand that.
You know, I love the women. Tiffany and I, we've been joking around about like, dang, we bringing a whole check to Michigan. Like, let's go crazy with it.
Get the keys, baby. Get the keys.
Yeah, when you're in the house, there are certain like aspects of the game that you can't really like be like, damn, Tiffany's doing amazing, because you're in that competitive mindset. Just like I know she was like, I gotta get X out. But yeah, no member of the cookout makes it without any others, and that includes the women at any point in the game.
Yeah. Well, we would love to talk to you a lot longer. It's never enough time. Please, you are invited to the podcast at any point in time to dive a little bit deeper into the game, answer some questions from some fans. We'd love to have you. And, again, congratulations on a historic season. It was a deserved win. And we will talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's talk about this because
deep dive, bro.
He's obviously very charming.
Very charming, very knows what to say, very easy on the eyes.
He knows it, easy on the eyes. He's got this energy about him. I could totally tell why people kept on bringing him to the end. He knows exactly what to say. Hey, it's
also probably still in gameplay mode, realistically.
Absolutely. I think the issue that I have is the change of thought. Like, oh no, they would have beat me. They totally made the contribution. They did all of this, but yet when you took them out, it was not because you see them as a threat, but more so because they are not pulling their weight. Like that, I think that's
being carried.
Yes, and being carried. And I think that is the reason why people online, why some of the fans are upset with these men, is because, that's not what they're crediting them for. They're crediting them now. Like, really, it didn't surprise you that Tiffany won? You thought Big D was going to win. You thought Big D was going to be America's favorite player. Like this, like, how does it go from,
Yeah, I know you mean, like the full 180. From,
how is it going to be definitely DX and Big D? Yeah. To oh no, I credit them. Like, look, of course, you would not be anywhere without the six. Everybody plays a part.
Of course, exactly.
And then the thing is that X wasn't even the worst part of the misogyny. I think that it was quite honestly more so Big D and Kyland that had
just a lack of like acknowledgement of like for any like participation or like any involvement like with the whole game, kind of just like glossing over like, oh yeah, they were there. I think that's more where people are like, what do you go back a bit, what do you mean they were just there?
Exactly. But and at the same time, I also want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I don't know if it's because we talk about the pretty privilege and his whole persona of just having this charm about him and giving him the benefit of the doubt that he was doing this because, hey, it's a game and you say the things that you need to say to the people who are saying them. Obviously, if Big D is saying we need to get these girls out, they're we're backpacking them, we're carrying them throughout this whole thing, they're not doing shit. Like, he's not going to say, oh no, excuse me, let me tell you all the contributions that these women have done. Like, exactly.
No. Actually, let's not do that right now. I get it. I would probably give them the benefit of the doubt. It is very hard when you're there, especially when you're trying to like move these people over because you don't know what's going to happen, what the competition is going to be. Maybe Big D will win something, and I'm going to need to make sure that I'm good with him. And if I piss him off right now by starting an argument, might not work out for me. But I do wish, obviously, hindsight's 2020. Maybe when he watches, he'll be like, you know what? I should have said something. I should have, stood up for these ladies. But I would have been nice to see it on the show, at least him being like, no, like they did do a lot. Like let's not over exaggerate here. They did a lot for us.
Yeah, and obviously, like, he's a very gracious winner. I feel like he
1000%.
He's very, even though he wasn't very aware. Like when we said, you kind of were targeted. You're just, and he's
just
like, what? I don't think that he's quite still like understanding. I think it's going to take him some time. So I'm hoping that we at some point can get him back if
fully, yeah.
I mean, we can totally get him back, but I'm just saying, I don't know if the fans want to hear what he has to say, or maybe they do. I don't know. I would love yes,
to
I would love
to
be able to pick his brain a little bit of like, okay, you've been out for some time, maybe a few weeks, like, is there anything different? I think that, when he was looking at it, and I mean, the fact that he's like, oh, I had a final 3 with Tiffany. It's like, oh, everybody had a final 3 with Tiffany and Hannah, but then decided to just like chop them. I mean,
jump ship. Yeah. He probably always knew that he would win,
I mean, he did say it, obviously. He said, I knew I would win with these men, but not with the women. And I wish I could have just asked him, like, why not with the women? Like, what is it?
Yeah, like, what is it? Like, are you thinking that, again, like, only women are going to vote for women to win? Like, is that what
yes,
your
exactly. And that's
is?
the only thing that I can think of. And so I'd want him back to say, I mean, maybe because I don't know. Like, that's the only thing I could think of is like that they all these men think that because the majority of the jury are women, that they're gonna vote for the woman.
No matter what.
And that's a little bit of
it's a lot to unpack.
It is. But
yeah, I just wonder like if we maybe like missed a conversation or something where like they were all like, no matter what, if there was a girl in those final 2 seats, like we're all voting no matter what, or like if there was some type of, conversation, or maybe realistically, maybe they did know that these women did do such big contributions that they knew if any of them were sitting next to them that they would lose.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay.
I
love it because this is something that I think that it may be in weeks prior, talking to them, unpacking a little bit more, having some questions from, from the fans come in. We can definitely ask more follow-up questions.
Oh, yeah.
And for those people who just don't know why, some of these questions were asked, it's literally, we have, if anything, at the most 10 minutes to talk
it's very quick
to them. And if we start with follow-up questions, we will be on the same question for 10 minutes, seriously. And then it's kind of like, well, I wanted to know more about something else,
exactly.
And it's never enough time. So hopefully we will have him back. He's very pleasant. He's a very pleasant
sweet,
guy.
very kind.
Very sweet guy. I don't know. I'm going to ask you a personal question, BREYDON. With him, can we compare him to a TYCHON win? Is this like the same kind of like, mist that TYCHON had in the house? Is it like?
I would say it's very similar. The way that they're very good with their words, very smooth, very easy on the eyes, very smoke show. Where sometimes that does woo you over.
Yeah. I mean, Azah was definitely all about it. So
I was gonna say, Azah said she was like, no showmans, no man, no dick, and
and there
she was pedaling him out.
And there's X, and it's
and then she was gonna take him in the end. I wonder.
Well, that's going to be, I mean, and I want to talk more to Azah about that. If you haven't seen the episode that we had with Azah in her exit interview, please go and watch it. But I definitely want to do a deeper dive with her and to talk about the
switch up,
the ex Azah switch up and why, and the relationship she may currently have with Big D. But Big D is the next person that we are going to interview. So this is going to be interesting because
baby, we got a storm coming.
and I'm excited and I'm nervous because I need to put my game face on and make sure that I don't make any weird faces when I talk to him.
Do you think he's done like a deep dive into the socials, or do you think that they're still vibing? I mean, we'll see.
I don't know. At this point, usually when we talk, they're still in kind of a sequester situation. So I don't know how much, it was very interesting to know that X said they got their phones. So I would be very interested to see how much Big D knows and what he doesn't.
Yeah, of course.
It's going to be an interesting one. So for those of you who want to be notified when the Big D interview shows up, make sure you click like, subscribe, click and smash the notification bell so that you know that it's coming. Do our comments. Let us know if you want X back on the show, questions you want to ask who else, and who else you want us to interview post-season, because this is going to be interesting. Like, I would want to see, I'm dying to get into a deeper dive with like DX and Claire.
Oh, of course. And Hannah. And Hannah. Like, I need to.
I would literally just have all 4 of them together. But
I
feel
round table.
I want to do the round table, but at the same time, like, I want to get with them individually and just know their individual thoughts. So, we can do all of that. If that's what you're interested in, let us know. Put it in the comments below. And we will see you next time.
Can't wait. Bye, besties.